Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to KGX to the ZTV. Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. Drop points at the death. 90 something minute. Brentford equalizer. And just, disappointment all around, all around. Let's get into it, folks. Let's get into it. Let's start back at the lineup. Coming off the international break, we know what time it is with Chelsea. We've always struggled when we come out of the international breaks. This one's a little bit even trickier because we've got Saturday fixture versus Brentford that we just played. We've got Wednesday at the Allianz Bayern Munich Champions League. Then we come home, travel again to Old Trafford. So rotation was needed. We had folks getting back late. Esteval sick. Reece James, 2 matches over the international break. Gusto played for France. Caicedo played, but he had a red card. Enzo didn't play. João Pedro played for Brazil. Neto for Portugal, and so forth. But you know what? There's no excuses. The lineup that was put out, we had heavily rotated lineup. Sanchez in goal. Right back was Fofana. Right-sided center back was Tosin. Left-sided center back was Trev. Left back was Hato, who came in for Cucurella, who also played twice midweek. Midfield was Enzo and Caicedo. Even though Caicedo played, he did get a red card, so he didn't play a full 90. Didn't even need to play, to be honest with you, because Ecuador had already qualified. But, it is what it is. Left wing was Gittins. In the 10 was Buenanote. Right side was Neto. And then up top, João Pedro. Palmer made the bench. As I mentioned before, Esteval didn't make the bench. James, Gusto were on there. Tyreek George was on the bench. Garnacho was on the bench. So you could tell that there was one eye forward on the Bayern Munich match, maybe even another half an eye forward, if that's even possible, towards Old Trafford. But going into it, the lineup when I saw it, my first reaction was, not really feeling it, not really feeling it. And look, I get it. I get the rotation. We went out and we got depth. We got a Hato, we got replacement and things like that. I wasn't upset with Hato being in there, but I did have problems with Buenanote starting the 10. Did have problems with Fofana starting at the right back, even though it wasn't a traditional right back. He was more of a back three in possession, but still defending the wide areas. Coming back for his first minutes in a while, and good to see it. He made it to 90. So credit to Fofana. Don't think he played terrible. Don't think he played great. But we'll get into it. But first half, atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And you could chalk some of it up to what I mentioned before, heavily rotated side. So you had a lot of players playing with people that they've never played with before. And going back to the Buenanote signing, which I was firmly against, not because I think he's a bad player. And to be fair to him, I thought he played fairly decent, which is somewhat admirable considering the fact that he was playing with guys that just returned that he didn't even practice with, probably apart from a day in training. But why we have Buenanote starting 2025 after spending almost $2 billion boggles my mind. And yes, I get it. You could say Esteval probably could have started in the 10 if he had been healthy and had not been sick. That's fine. You don't want Palmer starting because he's just getting back from a growing injury. We want to manage his minutes, like I mentioned before. Got Bayern Munich, got United. But if you're looking at it from the standpoint of this being a very tricky week, what's the must-have 3 points? Brentford away. Brentford side that lost, I think I heard today, 60% of their goals from last year between Norgard, their captain, Visa, and then Embuemo. But yet they still managed to put 2 by us. And we'll get into those too. But first half, just atrocious, terrible in build-up, slow out of the back. We weren't doing a good job. Our attackers weren't doing a good job of getting involved. João Pedro was having to drop extra deep, which meant that the times that we did get it advanced with Neto, we did get it advanced with Gittins, he was often chasing the play. And then Enzo, who also was trying to drop him back in build up, wasn't box crashing, and it looked like by design. Caicedo was trying to help, but they were doing a pretty good job of marking him. But it was pretty evident from the start that the goal was for Brentford was sit deep, soak up pressure, hit us on the counter, hit us with long balls over the top, and use set pieces, use long throw-ins and things like that. And it worked. It worked. They got their goal. Um, they caught us out again, long ball over the top. Fafana lets Tosin will get most of the blame because he was the one in the 1v1 defending who could have kind of cleaned it up. And even though he did a bad job of letting him get the shot off, but the shot was deflected. It did go through his legs. Did take a slight deflection, which wrong-footed Sanchez, who, to be honest with you, Sanchez, apart from a few moments of poor distribution, shot stopping was pretty good. Definitely kind of saved our bacon a few times. But going back to the goal, yeah, they catch us over the top. Fofana lets him run off him. Tosin, whose main weakness is probably 1v1 defending, gets isolated with Shade, who's probably Brentford's best attacker, especially with Damsgaard being out injured and not playing. He gets isolated, gets spun, allows him to get a shot off, and then the rest is history. It goes in. They take the 1-0 lead, and it's deserved. We nearly scumbag a goal. We had a good chance earlier with Neto where he cuts in on his favorite left foot, gets a shot off, but I think it was Pinnock who did a good job of, he got beat initially because Neto's crazy pace, gets beat initially, and then he makes up for it, gets a block in. So, we had a chance there, had a chance at the end of the half where a ball gets sent in off a corner, gets deflected off of, I think it's João Pedro's shoulder and ends up hitting the post. But we go in 1-0 and it looks disjointed. It looks discombobulated. We look out of sorts, and we are forced to make subs at halftime. And, I think I saw a lot of people online, especially on Twitter, saying the subs we're making, why are we making 2 defensive subs? We bring in James at right back. We bring in Cucurella at left back. We eventually bring on Tyreek George up top, which was a little crazy for moments because Maresca made a concerted effort to not play Mark Guéhi, which in my mind, it just boggles my mind. And I'm a Maresca fan, but he got this one wrong today in terms of the lineup. We still had enough to win it. We still should have solid out. Good teams get points, as evidenced by Liverpool when they're not playing their best. But we going into a game with one striker who's, you could say he's not even a true out and out number 9, with no Guéhi on the bench, with Tyreek George, who is a guy that we tried to sell to Fulham, but the paperwork didn't go through. Buonanotte, a last-minute lineup. Gittins, who was he was lucky not to make it off of halftime. Not only 1v1 was he poor, but he was just constantly offside, just switches of play. So not even, I understand if you're offside on the back shoulder and maybe the pass is a little bit late, you're out of sync a little bit with Enzo or whoever's making that pass, but he was getting caught where long switches, which you should never be caught offside, and especially when you just don't need to be. Just overall, just super poor by Gittins today. I know he's young. I'm not going to crash it on him too much, but he was 50 million pounds, and when you spend the kind of money that we spent on that left wing, you expect better. And going into the season, as I've mentioned on many, many videos, for me, the main upgrades that we needed were striker, which we did. We addressed striker. Unfortunately, Delap injured. Left wing, we spent 90 million. Gittins, Garnacho, still have huge question marks over those two. You saw both of their flaws today, which we'll get into with Garnacho. Center back, I thought regardless of what happened, and even before the Colwell injury, I thought we needed to upgrade on the right side at center back, whether that's Tosin, whether that's Fofana, whether that's Chalobah. I thought that we needed to go out there and to get a better partner to elevate our partnership with Colwell, who at the time was healthy, because the defensive setup, Caicedo, the fullbacks who are excellent, can only do but so much. At some point in time, your center backs are going to get isolated, and if you want to achieve what we want to achieve as a club, you're going to need your center backs to be a little bit better. So, that is what it is when it comes to that. But second half, we make the subs, and immediately we start paying dividends. The quality of Reece James, the quality of Cucurella, who wasn't even that great today, but he was still better than Hato. And you're asking Hato to play inverted. That's not his game, and it showed today. He wasn't comfortable. He's predominantly left-footed. They sat on him every time he got in possession. He looked to be the trigger for the press for them. He gave away possession a couple times. He got a yellow card for a loose touch. But again, his first start away to home to the G-Tech, a stadium that we've won once in I think 5 years. So again, I'm not going to crash on him, but we get back into the game. We play a ball over the top. João Pedro heads it down, or maybe you could say it's a lucky deflection, but he is credited for the assist. Cole Palmer slots it back into the net. It's 1-1. We're on the front foot, and next thing you know, we are cooking. Yeah, and then we get it. We start we're playing better. We're creating chances. We're pinning Brentford back, and we get the second goal. We get Garnacho to come on. He's being super direct. He's trying cutbacks. His cutback this time doesn't work. It gets caught out, gets deflected, but it falls to Caicedo. And Caicedo, doing what Caicedo does, picks up the 50-50 long shot, which is something that he's added to his game, puts it into the back of the net, and it's 2-1. And all we have to do from that point in time is just hold on, and we know what's going to happen, right? We know Brentford's going to lump balls forward. They're going to get physical in the box, and ultimately, down the end, they get a free kick, or they get a throw in on our right-hand side, their left-hand side. Shout out to Sade. He makes the most of it. He advances the ball about 10, 15 yards to get himself a better angle. The ref stared right at him, doesn't do a damn thing. They throw it in the box. We've got ample opportunity to clear it, and we make a meal out of it. Garnacho's caught sleeping on the back post. They put it in 2-2, and that's pretty much it from there. And look, we know what it is with Garnacho. We know he's had these moments of concentration, a lot of lapses in concentration before. We know what type of player he is. We know that he's a very young player, but at the same time, in moments like that, everyone needs to be locked in. And yes, I know there's a huge shout, and it probably should have been called off for offside or Utara, whatever his name is, interfering with play, but it wasn't. It went to VAR. They were probably nervous about giving us 2 VAR decisions in 2 match weeks. But again, unexcusable. You can see the whole throw going in. You can see Garnacho just not paying attention to his man at the end. And yeah, it cost us. It cost us 2 points, and it's a draw that ends up feeling like a loss. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. We live to fight another day. It's still early in the season. I still don't believe that we had enough or made enough in the moves in the transfer window to put us over the line to make a concerted effort for this title. But given the quality that we have in the squad, given the manager, given the system, the familiarity with it, the continuity, you would think that we would be able to sort of take this title race and kind of push it a little bit further than we did last year. But it is what it is. It's drop points. It's disappointing. We heavily rotated. We look back on it. At this point in time, all you can do is just learn from it. You got guys in there that are getting minutes that they probably normally wouldn't have gotten minutes of if we had a full complement of our squad. But at the same time, it's a long season. We're coming off the Club World Cup. We're coming off of a long European campaign last year in the Conference League. Competitive matches down to the end, so we didn't really get a chance to sort of to rest folks. And it's going to take a whole squad, and unfortunately, our squad, we showed a little bit of the inexperience today of seeing games out. We showed a little bit of the lack of quality when it comes to depth and starting options and things like that. But we move. So, let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you thought of the lineup. Let me know what you thought, who the key players were. And I'll just real quick before we wrap it up, I'll just go over my standouts from today. And I thought Neto was pretty excellent. He was lively. Unlucky. He probably should have got a goal, another assist on Palmer for Palmer's effort that was saved by Kelleher, where he tried to just finesse it in. I thought Caicedo excellent as usual. I thought Enzo was on it. He was winning every 50-50 ball and just keeping possession and just real tidy. I don't think Brentford played well. I don't think they dominated us. I don't think that they were posed a huge threat. I just don't think we did enough to go out there and earn the 3 points. I thought Sanchez, to his credit, was pretty solid. But overall, just disappointment. Um, Puts a lot of pressure on us going into not only this midweek match versus Bayern, but also this upcoming match at Old Trafford, where we know we're going to need 3 points there. But again, folks, hit those likes, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. Let me know what you think. Peace.